Elon Musk appeared on the Five yesterday, and Jessica Tarlov, this was her big moment, man. She was going to nail Elon. She's there. She's the liberal. She's going to go right after him. Just watch as she goes for the juggler here, accusing him of outright conflict of interest, double dipping, and political corruption. I don't know what Elon's going to do. I mean, this is Jessica Tarlov after all. Let's see what happens.
Liberal Tesla lover here. My sister has two in her family, so have not thrown any Molotov cocktails recently. But I wanted to talk to you about what Doge has been doing. So you've been making cuts to a lot of the agencies that have open investigations and regulatory battles with your companies. At the same time, you continue to get billions in government contracts. Tesla gets billions in subsidies. How do you explain that to the American people?
Well, everything that Doge does is an open book. So I think the most transparent action, the most transparent organization in government ever. Every single Doge action is listed on the Doge.gov website. It's also listed on the X handle. So if anyone has a concern about any one of those actions, they can bring that up. They can raise that. And I do want to say, like, sometimes we make a mistake.
All right, we're going to let him finish, but look at her face. Just look at her face in the two shot here. That's the face of the liberal left. That is the face of the primary target voter for every Democrat politician in America. That's their base right there. Look at how much time do you want to spend with that human being in your life? How much free time? You want to take her to a game, do you? Go maybe check out a movie, hang out, watch? No, nothing. Look at that right here. Shows you exactly. You want an image to show the disparity between two political directions in this country. Whose path do you want to go down? Path of the most successful human being on our planet, technical genius who's been able to change industry as we know it in major industries like automotive and Wi-Fi and satellite distribution and aerospace. That guy who loves freedom, who wants government off your back? Or do you want to go down her path? Who, she's accomplished. Do you want to go down her path? This is a great image right here of exactly where we are in this country. So I'm sorry for interrupting, Elon, but I couldn't get past the visual. And if for those of you who are listening to the podcast, audio only, try to find us on your favorite video streaming platform. We're on all of them. And you got to see this moment. All right, we'll let Elon finish here.
They can bring that up. They can raise that. And I do want to say, like, sometimes we make a mistake. Nobody bats 1,000. We will at times make a mistake. We'll act very quickly to correct it. I am under such an extreme spotlight, so much scrutiny, that it's literally impossible for me to get away with anything nefarious. And obviously, nor do I wish to. So this is a case where we have radical transparency. We're actually willing to admit that we do make mistakes. Often people are not willing to admit they make mistakes, but we are. But we want to emphasize we fix them quickly, and we're trying to do the right thing for the American taxpayer, for the American people. And I think history will be the judge that what we've done here and what we're doing is a very good thing for the strength and future of America.
All right. Well said, Elon Musk. Now let's watch this together, at least the first part of it, because I'm sure that his answer is still ringing in your ears right now about the fact that this is the most transparent program the federal government probably has ever had. And we're going to prove that to you in just a second by looking at the Doge website. It's pretty easy to find, Doge.gov. It's all right there. Every single thing that they do, every single thing that they uncover. And he said, listen, I'm under so much scrutiny. I am under such an intense spotlight. I assure you, if I were doing anything nefarious, everybody would know about it. And that's the key here. I just said that this was Jessica Tarlov's big opportunity to nail Elon Musk. She's got her facts. She's got the proof. She's got the evidence, and she's going to hammer him. Thank God. Yeah, she's the voice of the left on Fox News, and she's loaded for bear. She's done all her research, and she's got everything all set up. So I want you to listen again to her question and exactly what she's accusing him of here.
Liberal Tesla lover here. My sister has two in her family, so have not thrown any Molotov cocktails recently, but I
trying to ingratiate herself to him. Hey, I love Tesla. I got nothing against you, and I don't like the people who are throwing Molotov cocktails at you. But I love the but. Why can't that just be period, end of statement? That the but suggests that there is a rationale behind those people who are throwing Molotov cocktails. So bring on the but here, Jessica.
Wanted to talk to you about what Doge has been doing.
She wants to talk about what Doge has been doing. In other words, what kind of waste and fraud have you found? What kind of abuse is going on? What kind of unaccounted funds have been distributed to organizations that shouldn't be getting money? What kind of billions of dollars have you been able to recover for the American taxpayer? What kind of inefficiency have you been able to fix in these federal departments who are still operating with systems from the 90s or earlier? No, she doesn't want to talk about what Doge has been doing. If she wants to talk about what Doge has been doing, those are the questions she would ask. No. She's got a gotcha question that is framed in innuendo that is not based in any fact, actually. Listen to the question that was presented as, I want to talk about what Doge is doing.
So you've been making cuts to a lot of the agencies that have open investigations and regulatory battles with your companies. At the same time, you continue to get billions in government contracts. Tesla gets billions in subsidies. How do you explain that to the American people?
How do you explain what? What is it? If I were Elon Musk, I would have said, I'm sorry, is there an accusation here? Because you just threw out a couple of truths and then suggested through innuendo that something bad and nefarious is going on that I now apparently have to explain to the American people, but there's no actual charge. There's no actual accusation. Could you make a claim? What she said was, you're making cuts to agencies that have open investigations into your companies, and you're making billions of dollars in federal contracts. So can you explain that? And if I were Elon Musk, I would have said, oh, I'd love to explain it. Here's what's going on. I'm running this thing called Department of Government Efficiency. We found a lot of inefficiencies, and we've been able to recommend cuts. I don't make cuts. Doge doesn't make cuts, but we recommend some cuts back to the cabinet secretaries and to the OMB director, Russ Vought. And then some of those cuts have gone through. Some of them have not. So yes, I have recommended some cuts to agencies that do happen to have some investigations. Investigations, by the way, into my companies that were instigated by the Biden administration the second I started to oppose his policies. There were no investigations into my companies when they all thought I was a good little liberal who would sit in the corner and they could pat my head and throw me a bone and I'd do whatever they'd said because I really wanted all that federal money. No. The second I opposed Joe Biden, and even worse, the second I supported Donald Trump, that's when all these investigations came on board. But yeah, you're right. I've recommended cuts to agencies who are investigating me. And oh, by the way, you are right. I'm making billions of dollars in contracts. You know why? Because I've got the greatest aerospace company on the planet right now. What are those contracts? I just shot up a rocket and a capsule to rescue astronauts that had been abandoned because Boeing's capsule failed. So yeah, you're right. I'm making billions of dollars in contracts with the government because I'm good and because my company is good. If you would like, SpaceX will walk away. Is that what you would like, Jessica? Because you're suggesting there's something nefarious or illegal or counterproductive that's going on here. So what is it I'm explaining? Yeah, I'd love to explain to the American people exactly what's going on. Now, that's how I would do it. But of course, I don't have the deft hand of Elon Musk. And I guess Elon Musk was a little bit more, generous and judicious in the way he decided to explain it. You heard him talk about how transparent they are over at Doge, and they are 1,000% transparent. It's easy for everybody to go to Doge.gov. They've got every single item that they have done. Much of it is just the feed from the X account, but they actually categorize this in savings to the American people so far. They also show what kind of payments have been set up for various agencies in the government and where that money goes and who it's going for. Have you ever seen anything like this from a government agency? This simple to navigate, this clear, this coherent? Who's working, Anja? Here's the U.S. government. This is how the executive branch works. This is how many people are working there. This is how many officers are there. This is what the wages are. You can go down to the cabinet level agencies. How about Department of Agriculture? 92,000 employees in the Department of Agriculture. 92,000. How about the Office of Communications? 47 people in the comms office. So that's a little bit better. Executive branch, let's go to large independent agencies. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's that thing that was dreamed up by Elizabeth Warren. 1,600 employees, $310 million with 653 subordinate offices. How great is this? This is an incredible resource. Here's regulations. This is a number of agencies, rules created by unelected bureaucrats for each law passed by Congress in 2024. Look at that. Look at that. So Congress passes 176 laws. Meanwhile, the unelected bureaucracy created 3,250 rules and regulations. That's 18.45 rules for every law that was passed by Congress. It's a great website. You should all go to it. You should all look it up, find something that you find interesting, and put it out on X or whatever your social media is. But here's Jessica Tarlov obviously insinuating some sort of nefarious criminal activity or conflict of interest on behalf of Elon Musk. Like Elon Musk was literally the richest man in the world before he started this endeavor of Doge. Does everyone think that he's so psychotic that it's like, you know what, I'm the richest man in the world. I own a car company. I've got an aerospace company. I've got satellites all around the world connecting everybody to Wi-Fi. I own the biggest social media platform. I've got a company that can drill tunnels. I'm drilling a tunnel under Las Vegas. I'm going to drill a tunnel, or propose to drill a tunnel from Baltimore to Washington, D.C. It's going to revolutionize traffic and transportation in countries like the United States of America that rely on automobiles, where we're never going to replace what we do with light rail. I've got a whole new rollout of automated self-driving taxis that I'm about to roll out in Austin, Texas, that will revolutionize mass transportation in this country. All electric vehicles, by the way, if you really care about greenhouse gases. I'm doing all of these things. I plan on colonizing Mars. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and work for Donald Trump and create this new Department of Government Efficiencies, because that'll make me richer, because that'll make me more powerful. Who thinks that about it? Who thinks he's that psychotic? Jessica Tarlov apparently does, with this bold, ridiculous innuendo that in some way Elon Musk is actually corrupt. He's the corrupt one in this whole way. When you look at what Doge is uncovering, and you look at what is going on with the Department of Treasury, with the Department of State, with USAID, with all of this other bullshit that we've been paying for, that we never voted for. And when you look at that whole thing, and all you can come up with is, yeah, Elon's the corrupt one here, there's something broken in your head. And that's you, Jessica Tarlov. That's you. So let's go from her to a little better exchange here, where Elon on the 5 was asked specifically about how they're going after his companies. I mean, one of the most un-American things I've ever seen. You don't like Donald Trump? Fine. March against him. Protest against him. You don't like Elon Musk? Protest against him. March against him. March against the Department of Government Efficiency. Do something through your government. Yeah. That's not what they're doing. This is a Saul Alinsky tactic. You find an individual, you isolate them, you target them, and you try to do personal damage to them. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing when they go after Tesla. They're trying to drive the stock price down at Tesla. They're trying to intimidate people from buying Teslas. They're trying to, there are people who would love to buy a Tesla, but they won't do it because they're afraid they're going to be targeted for violence. Think about that. And that's what the left wants. I've told you before, we are a Tesla family. I drove my Tesla into Washington, D.C. today to do my morning show. And once I got off the expressway and started driving down the streets and had to stop at red lights in Washington, D.C., you bet your ass I had my head on my swivel. You bet your ass I was looking over my shoulder, waiting for somebody to do something. That's the environment the left has created in this country, and it's what they want. So Kennedy asked Elon Musk about this, and check out his answer.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the anti-Tesla violence. Your car company was...
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it was a leftist dream come true. It was technologically advanced. It was the word of mouth was better than any car company, arguably, on the market. And now the left is trying to make it a pariah by tying their anti-Elon politics to violence? How do you talk the unhinged off the ledge? And how do you counter that violence that you're seeing at Tesla dealerships?
Yes, it is remarkable that there is so much violence. People have burnt cars, they've fired bullets into dealerships, they've scratched swastikas into Teslas of the innocent people that have, they're just going about their lives. They've done nothing wrong. And Tesla's done nothing wrong as a company. And so I find it ironic and incredibly hypocritical that the same Democrat politicians who would want to throw someone in prison for 20 years simply for watching things at January 6th, but not actually doing any violence, you don't hear a single word from them about the actual violence happening against Tesla. What incredible hypocrites they are. It's outrageous. I mean, really, this is fundamentally a case of terrorism. It's wide-scale domestic terrorism with the purpose of intimidation, and it's harming innocent people. It's really terrible. And I think what we actually have to get to are the people who are organizing and paying for these attacks and protests. That's who we really need to go after, because the people who are actually throwing the Molotov cocktails, they are the foot soldiers. Right. But we need to go after the generals, and we're going to do so. The president has made it very clear that we're going to go after those that are paying and organizing these violent attacks. And Attorney General Bondi has said the same thing. I believe that is exactly what will happen.
Do you know who they are?
We're coming for them.
Do you know who those generals are?
We know. We do.
Yes. And hopefully the prosecution will be for RICO and an organized criminal enterprise, which makes the penalties even more serious. And now to Jessica.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty huge right there. They know who the generals are. They're going after them. Attorney General Pam Bondi put out a video on social media, I think it was yesterday, about that. And you just heard Judge Jeanine throw in there on RICO. RICO is what you use against mobsters. It's what Fannie down in Atlanta, Georgia, wanted to use to go after Trump and his advisors with regard to the 2020 election, which is a misuse of the law. But this is racketeering. That's what it is, especially when a criminal enterprise crosses state lines, which is exactly what this is. So that's a huge development there. Meanwhile, here's this morning's headline from CNBC. This is how, yeah, I really wish people who are in the news business actually spent some time following the news. So whoever wrote this at CNBC, Tesla shares rise on unconfirmed report Elon Musk could be leaving Doge post soon. So this is hilarious. So apparently there's an unconfirmed report that Elon Musk might be leaving his post at Doge soon. And they're in the stock, and there you go. The stock is up. Listen, if you bought Tesla last week when it was down because of all the violence and now it's going up, you're in good shape, right? Here we go. So let's read it real fast. Tesla shares rose Wednesday after Politico. Oh, it's got to come from Politico. Politico reported that Elon Musk could leave his post at the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. What do you mean so-called Department of Government Efficiency? It is literally called the Department of Government Efficiency. That's literally what it is. That's the website. We were just looking at it. It's Doge.gov. It's a department that the President of the United States, the head of the executive branch of government, created to determine whether there is room for efficiency and reforms in the government. There's no so-called. Who wrote this? What is going on at CNBC? So-called Department of Government Efficiency, paving the way for the CEO to return his focus to the struggling EV maker. Oh, why is it struggling? Is it struggling because it's not producing enough cars? No. Is it struggling because, there's some sort of supply chain problem? No. Is there some sort of defect in the automobile? No, not at all. They're functioning fantastic. In fact, the latest Model Y, I'm sort of salivating over. It looks fantastic. No. Why is it struggling? Because of left-wing terrorist attacks. They left that out of the article. The stock was last up 4% as its session lows. It had dropped as much as 6.4% on the back of whether the expected vehicle deliveries for the first quarter. The report, which cites Trump insiders, noted that while President Donald Trump is pleased with Musk and the Doge spending cuts that have been pushed through, the two decided in recent days that the billionaire would soon return to his business. So there you go. Unconfirmed report, Elon Musk could be leaving Doge soon. And if you drill into this story, you'll discover that it appears sometime in mid to late May is when Elon Musk will be resuming full-time at his other private ventures, and he will no longer be sleeping in his office in Washington, because he's so dedicated to the Doge concern. Unconfirmed reports. Okay, so here's some breaking news. Let's put this out here, okay? I'm gonna make news for you right now. I can right now confirm, guaranteed, I will confirm this 100%, put my name on it, that Elon Musk will be leaving his position overseeing the Department of Government Efficiency no later than May 30th. Guaranteed. I guarantee it. I'm willing to stake my reputation on it. Put my name on it. Put it out there. Put it out. Tweet it out right now. Put it on your social media. Larry O'Connor has the inside scoop. It is confirmed. Elon Musk will be leaving sometime between now and May 30th. May 30th, drop dead date. 100%. Do you know how I know that? It's not because I have a source. I mean, I kind of do have a source. It's called the federal law. Elon Musk is employed right now in the executive branch in a position that's known as a temporary job, a temporary, I don't know what the term is, but it means that he can operate without having to divest any of his private holdings and private investments, and he doesn't have to go through any confirmation process, and he can continue doing the job that he's got while still retaining his private sector employment for 130 days from the day he begins. He began on January 20th. 130 days from January 20th is May 30th. He cannot legally continue in his position unless he sells all of his assets. Dan Bongino, our colleague, streamer, podcaster who left his position to become the deputy director of the FBI. Before he did that, you may have noticed he sold his company to a new company that his wife is in charge of, right? If you look, everything is now Silverlock Productions, I believe is the name of the company. He had to do that. He could not be an owner of a podcast media company and still work for the federal government in the capacity that he is. Those are the rules. I have friends who worked in the first Trump administration who were offered jobs in the second Trump administration. And they were like, yeah, my kids are in high school. I got income coming in. I can't afford it. I can't sell all of my investments or business. I can't quit my job and do that because I got a couple of different ventures going on. Can't do it. Sorry. Because that's one of the things you have to do. You think Elon Musk is going to sell SpaceX and sell Tesla, sell all these companies and divest himself from all? No, of course not. This was always baked in the cake. CNBC with the big headline, Politico with the big blockbuster that Elon Musk is going to leave soon. Yes, he's going to leave soon. He'll leave no later than May 30th because it's the law. And by the way, we all knew that. God, I really wish people who were in the business of reporting the news would spend some time reading the news now and again, because I'm just a guy and I knew that. So there it is. There's my blockbuster. Put it out there. Huge headline. Larry O'Connor, exclusive. Elon Musk will leave Doge no later than May 30th. You're welcome.